So Haley left this message where I shared on Easter a video to children about it being okay if they didn't go to church and that it didn't mean they weren't a good person. I understand a concern that people may have when an adult addresses children directly. And at the beginning of that video, I asked caregivers to children to show my video only if they thought it was appropriate to do so. So there's that. But the hypocrisy of Christians is what needs to be addressed, and I'm just the person to do it, so let me cook. Did I use that phrase right? Because it's people like this who say my video, where I literally place the responsibility on caregivers to show the video if they felt it was appropriate, that somehow that she labeled that predatory. These are the same people who will open that Sunday school door or nursery and plop those kiddos right down in the middle of the room and leave without any thought or hesitation about who you just turned your child over to. They'll toss their kids in that church van for vacation Bible school or send them on a church trip and not blink an eye about the people who are taking care of their children. And I too used to think like this, that everything outside of the church was evil while only good people existed inside church. But it wasn't until everything started to fall away and I started to deconstruct that I saw how the church system protects not only misogynists and sexists and egocentric people, it protects predators and abusers, and the data confirms that. Now, if you don't know Kristen Brown, you can find them on TikTok where they ran data up to 2024 where you can see who is harming the children. Guess what, my friend? Your child has a far greater chance being harmed in that Sunday school room than they are at a drag queen show. And if that doesn't convince you enough, did you not see this? The largest Christian denomination in the nation, the Southern Baptist Convention, released a 205-page database in 2022, and it includes more than 700 entries of abuse cases. And you know who those abusers were? Pastors and church leaders. Here's what's really concerning about that list. Most were unreported. Pastors and church leaders were shuffled instead of fired or arrested for their crimes. Then guess what, Haley? The Southern Baptist Convention abandoned their commitment to maintain that database and hold themselves accountable for the abuse that exists inside their denomination. That's one denomination. Here's what you need to know. Most churches do not do background checks on their staff or their volunteers. They have no reporting mechanism in place for reporting any kind of abuse. And if it is reported, it will usually result in gaslighting the victim. And if it's severe enough, they'll simply shuffle the predator to another church. Case in point, do you remember this story where the pastor tried to get ahead of his abuse of a minor by calling it an affair and he failed in his sin? But the woman was brave enough to stand up and confront him and revealed he had been grooming her. The end of her confronting him, the entire congregation went up to pray for that pastor, while that woman, who was the victim, cried in the corner with just a handful of people around her. The priority will always be on protecting the one who is loyal and compliant no matter how incompetent or dangerous they are. If they are obedient to Christian patriarchy, they will be protected over anyone who is a threat to that structure. So while you tried really hard to paint me as the predator, your accusation is an admission of guilt, and I believe you know it. You just carry water for the Christian patriarchy because everyone knows the most dangerous person in that structure is the white Christian woman. She will lug water up that ladder and pour it down on anyone, including the children, to protect her privilege and power that the Christian patriarchy affords her. That's you, Haley. Don't come at me with accusations that you can't back up.